welcome to another episode of the Sean Farrell Podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Amen. Okay, so reasons why those who are suicidal don't reach out and and often end up struggling in silence. Excuse me. They don't feel they have a safe space to talk about their suffering. They don't want to burden others with their problems. They've been accused of attention seeking and don't want to be judged again in their most vulnerable state. Their struggle doesn't align with others' perception of them. Example, the strong one. They fear they'll be dismissed or be given overly simplistic advice. They're so overwhelmed, they don't know how they'd communicate their thoughts, feelings to others. Okay. So the first one, they don't feel they have a safe space to talk about their suffering. Okay. So, when suicidal people open up to you about what they're feeling, oftentimes they don't want anybody else to know. They're coming to you because they trust you. They trust you not to spill. They're giving you, suicidal people are spilling their beans to you, okay? And they're coming to you and they're spilling their beans to you because they trust you. And they know that you won't spill their beans to other people, okay? And so, however, there is people that you cannot come to, who will spill your beans. Hold on. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So they just want confidentiality. They're coming to you because they trust you. No. And oftentimes when people call 988, right? One of the things that they often say is they can't come to their friends. They can't come to their family. They can't come to anyone at school because they feel that that's not a safe enough space for them to talk about what they're going through. Okay, which kind of ties in with they've been accused of attention seeking and don't want to be judged in their most vulnerable state again. Okay, so those two kind of tie in together. The lack of trust with some people. People telling people spilling their beans to other people, being judged by their parents, their friends. Okay, so what do I often say? Just listen, show compassion, empathy, kindness, don't judge, and we'll save a lot more lives that way. Okay. So 988 is definitely one of those safe spaces that you can come to and talk about your feelings. This is a 100% safe space, 100% classified. Okay. And Another safe space that you can use is speaking to a counselor. What you say between you and your counselor is 100% classified too. And I remember, um, and I remember one year, this is way back when, my ex-girlfriend got really upset with me because she wanted me to tell her what me and her counselor, me and my counselor, okay, excuse me. She wanted me to tell her what me and my counselor were discussing, okay? And obviously, she wanted to know if we were discussing her, okay? And I didn't give her a exact answer. And she got mad and said, "You can't even tell me what you all talk about in counseling." And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't think I have to tell you because that's just between me and my counselor, right? Right? Okay. So I remember a few years back, speaking to my counselor, and I asked her. I said, I said, are we supposed to tell, like girlfriends, family members, friends, what we talk about?" And she shook her head. It's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. You don't have to tell them. You are not at liberty to tell them what you talk about in here. Okay. So, no, I was right. Okay. I'm not patting myself on the shoulder about that, but yeah. So, counselor is another safe space that you can go to because it's just y'all. It's just you two. Okay. And like I said, everything that's said between you two stays in that room and stays with their counselor. Okay. All right. So they don't want to burden others with their problems. So when I was younger, I didn't look at it as being a burden. With what I was going through was depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. I didn't look at it as being a burden. I just looked at it as it's nobody's business of what I'm going through. Okay, I didn't look at it as being a burden at that time. Again, I just looked at it as it's nobody's business what I'm dealing with. Okay. Then as the years passed by, I began to say to myself, well, I don't want to burden this person, his person. Okay, give you a good example. Part of a Dallas Cowboys fan club where we watch the games together, or where we watch the Cowboy games together every Sunday. Okay, and a few people made an interesting observation about me, where they said when I was into the game, I was yelling, cheering, screaming, just like everybody else was. But on other days, when I was not into the game, I was not into the game. Okay. So in other words, some days I would be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And other days I'd be like, yeah, touchdown. Yeah. And they had no idea that I was suicidal. They had no clue that I was suicidal, right? And so, my thinking at that time was, well, I know that this person is dealing with this issue. This person deals with this issue. Hey, he's dealing with this issue. She's dealing with that issue. Okay. And so why would I burden them with the stuff with what I'm going through? Okay. They already have enough on their plate. Why would I add more? And so yeah. Attention seeking. Talked about that. Well, let me add a little bit more for attention seeking. Okay. You may think it's attention seeking, but they just want somebody to say, "Hey, what's wrong?" Okay. They just want somebody to see their pain and ask them, "Hey, what's wrong?" That way they can start releasing what they feel, okay? But so oftentimes we get dismissed as attention seeking. And that can take a small mental fire and turn it into a big old blaze, okay? Their struggle doesn't align with others' perception of them, a strong one. So putting a mask on, okay, is what this is kind of referred to. Putting a mask on, always smiling, always making jokes, always doing this, doing that, okay? Putting a mask on. They fear they'll be given overly simplistic advice or be dismissed, which is also called toxic positivity. Stuff like, "Hey, I know you feel sad now, feel bad now, but try to think positive and you will be okay." I had a friend who was sad, and they came up out of it. "Hey, why are you depressed? You have so much to be thankful for." Okay. So, toxic positivity, being dismissed. Okay. Giving overly simplistic advice. Overwhelmed. They don't know how they communicate their thoughts and feelings to others. Okay. So often when people call 988, they can't exactly say what's on their mind right away. Okay. They can't exactly say what's on their mind right away because they're way too overwhelmed. So when they call 988, they're going to need like 2 or 3 minutes to just settle down and let the overwhelm pass, for them to say what's on their mind. Because when they call 988, their mind is like, tangled. It's like an entanglement, okay? It's all entangled. Then when they call 988, they need 2 or 3 minutes for it to go like, okay. So, again, so if they can't communicate their thoughts or feelings, no, just give them a little bit of time, okay? And you give them a little bit of time, and then they'll be able to communicate her thoughts and feelings to you, okay? This is why you should check in. This is why you should always check in on your loved ones. Check on your friends, co-workers, and if you do reach out, ensure you provide a safe, non-judgmental place or space that will allow them to express themselves freely. Okay? So, yeah. All right. That's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. May God bless you all. I'm gone.